I'm Davy. I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies that I love, the alternative, B-rated, cult-style flicks. And this week, it's another Ed Wood movie, sort of. He didn't direct this one. He wrote it, but decided to remain uncredited. This movie was made in 1956, and it was directed by William Morden, and produced by Roy Reed, and distributed by Headliner Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, The Violent Years. Although the original title for this movie was Teenage Girl Gang. And the movie opens with us meeting the Teenage Girl Gang, starting with the leader, Paula, played by former Playboy playmate Jean Moorhead, Phyllis, played by Gloria Farr, Geraldine, played by Joanne Kanji, and Gloria, played by Teresa Hancock. So there we go, we got that out of the way. That's the Teenage Girl Gang.
This is a story of violence.
Well, I would hope so. You did change the name to The Violent Years. We then go to a court case going on.
It's always difficult for an old friend to sit in judgment of an old friend.
Shouldn't be that difficult for you. I mean, you are a judge. What he's judging them over, though, is them as parents.
Over the past 18 years, have proven yourselves utterly incompetent.
See? Judging them wasn't so hard, was it?
In all fairness to the society which you so miserably failed.
Okay, you can stop now, dude. We get it. They were crappy parents. I think they get it. I think people who haven't seen this movie get it. But even the mother feels that she's a bad parent.
How am I to blame? Where could I have failed?
Then after it does those cool little wavy line effects that make you go like, oh, she's remembering stuff, like they used to do back in the old days, we see the lead, Paula, asking her mother for a moment of her time.
What can be so important in your young life as to warrant my attention so drastically?
Okay, that's how this happened. That's why you're to blame.
I guess you're right, Mother.
And I guess you're supposed to be a teenager. Thing is, her parents thought they were good parents because they literally gave her everything she wanted. They were rich. Her mom writes her a blank check and leaves. So Paula goes to call her Teenage Girl Gang. Okay, some of you kids may be confused. That is what we used to call a rotary phone. They were extremely annoying. I don't know why I had one, because by the time I was born we had like touch-tone phones, but still, occasionally we had them, and oh my gosh, it was like you had to grab the phone, hold it, and you had to crank it all the way over, let it slide. Grab the next button, crank it all the way over, let it slide. If you messed up the number, it was really annoying because then you had to do it all over again. And if somebody had a 1 in their number, you debated on whether or not you really needed to talk to them. Her and the other teenagers in this Teenage Girl Gang head to a gas station. Oh, sweetheart, you think you're mad about the prices now? Wait till you see how bad the gas prices get in the future. Okay, now hold it. Hold it. Yeah, I'm not playing the clip over and over again. This is just how long that scene was. It was like over a minute of her just pointing the gun at him, occasionally being interrupted with this. Yeah, the same clip of that car turning over there and driving down played like 3 or 4 times. The other girls in this Teenage Girl Gang go inside the gas station and steal something. We're not exactly sure. We didn't get to see that. We were too busy with the thrilling holding the gun on him sequence. But then they take care of the gas station attendant. Look, I know you're frustrated because you want cheaper gas. I feel you. But that's not the way to go about it. I mean, the first thing you could do to get cheaper gas is go to a self-service station. It's way cheaper. At the hospital...
Will he pull through, Doc?
Probably. I mean, she didn't hit him that hard. By the way, the cop there is Lieutenant Holmes, played by Timothy Farrell, who was in 2 other Ed Wood movies, Jailbait and Glitter Glenda.
These fool kids, when will they learn?
Well, you're one to talk. It took you doing 3 Ed Wood movies before you learned, you know what? I'll pass. A reporter shows up and asks the lieutenant about the gang that has been robbing all these gas stations. So apparently they've been holding guns on people for like hours. And Lieutenant Holmes tells the reporter their plan: to have all the gas stations that are open past 10 o'clock in the city to have at least 2 attendants working at all times.
One of those men could be a policeman.
Oh, by the way, please don't print our strategy. Then the teenage girl gang pull up to a parked car with a couple inside. Oh yeah, we're totally kissing. The girl in the car, they pull her out and decide they like her sweater. It's cute. They want her to take it off.
For God's sake, Cheryl, take this sweater off. Give it to her.
And come on, they're shopping. After making the girl strip down, they decide that they want to take the guy and go have some fun. But first they need to tie up the girl. But with what?
Use her skirt. That looks strong enough. Tear up and use it.
So they take her skirt off, rip it up, tie her up, and throw her in the back seat. And literally the very second they walk away. Yeah, it turns out that skirt wasn't a good idea. As far as the guy... Oh no, that poor young teenager getting violated by a former Playboy playmate! The horror! His girlfriend, though... Yeah, what's funny about this is they didn't actually take the keys out of the car, so you could have just driven away. The next morning, Paula's parents are talking about Paula's birthday party.
Well, it's impossible for me. I've got a newspaper to get out.
Paula's father is the editor-in-chief at a newspaper, which explains why they make so much money, because newspapers were the big thing back then. But it also explains why he almost never sees his daughter.
Oh, that is too bad. I can't be here either.
She's always doing charity work. She hardly sees her daughter either. But the wife tells him that Paula is having a pajama party.
What in the world is a pajama party?
It's a party where people celebrate pajamas. What do you think it is? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a party where people sit in their pajamas. Although, when I was growing up, we used to have this nice belief that it was a sexy thing when girls had pajama parties, but it's really not. They sit around in the stuff they sleep in, which turns out not to be sexy lingerie, but more like sweatpants and old shirts that they just don't want to throw out. But, of course, her father is worried about all those girls being in their pajamas in front of a bunch of boys.
No boys invited.
Oh, I see.
And I'm sure there won't be, because as we know, teenagers don't do things they shouldn't do, especially when there's no adult supervision around. Paula goes to visit her father at work and very unsubtly starts asking questions about the gang that's been in all the newspapers.
Holmes is putting a policeman in mechanic's clothes with each gas station staying open after 10 at night.
And this is why Holmes is a terrible cop. So now Paula goes to meet with her teenage girl gang!
The cops have pulled a sneak. They'll be waiting for us.
So now they need a new gig. Where to get it? They go to a woman named Sheila's house. She dishes out crimes, I guess?
If you can wreck a few schoolrooms, you can make yourself and your pack a load of dough.
Someone is willing to pay them to vandalize the school. Why?
That's none of your business or mine.
Okay, I guess it's not, but it doesn't make any sense. Then, while killing time, we head over to Paula's Pajama Party. Paula's Pajama Party. That'd be a sweet band name. There weren't supposed to be any boys there, you no-goodniks! Can't believe you broke the honor system. The reporter from her father's office shows up to deliver her father's present.
I see the party's formal dress.
It honestly does make me laugh that in 1956, her pajamas were considered provocative. So he gives the present to Paula.
Dad gets me the same present every birthday. A new watch.
And her mom?
Mom sneaks out and takes my old car in for a trade.
Okay, so you get the same gifts every year. I mean, could be worse. Because every year your dad gets you a fancy watch and your mom gets you a new car. But you see, I wasn't rich and I got the same gifts every year too. A bunch of IOUs that never got honored. Now back to the party. Oh yeah, kissing. I love this stuff. Paula's date, though, is itching for a fight. Well, that certainly looked realistic.
You're in bad company, Paula. But I don't want to sound like I'm telling you your business.
Might as well. Her parents won't. After he leaves, Paula decides it's time to cut the party short so they can go get to work. They go to the school and start vandalizing a classroom. You diabolical fiends! Oh, the humanity! You brutes, you vicious brutes! Ah! Seriously though, whoever decided they would pay them to vandalize a school must have really had a vendetta against school. I mean, it's just... Wait a second. No. Couldn't be. Could it? I know somebody who hates school enough to do that. But there's no... Could it be? Oh my God! Just then, the cops show up. All this over school vandalism?
They're shooting back!
Duh!
Yeah, cops kind of do that when you shoot at them. The cops in this teenage girl gang have a little shootout until Phyllis catches a bullet.
It ain't supposed to be this way.
I know. They were supposed to get a good actress. Paula is mad because now there's only 3 left in this teenage girl gang. Got 'em. The remaining 3 in this teenage girl gang get out and get to the car. Now there's only 2. They rush back to Sheila's because the cops are after them. Of course. But Sheila doesn't want them there because of the heat they're bringing out. She tells them to leave. Paula informs them they're not leaving. They killed a cop tonight.
I'm calling the police.
Who wouldn't see that coming? The 2 remaining members of this teenage girl gang change clothes and decide that they need to get out of the country.
Sheila kept quite a stack of bills in her place.
Hopefully she kept this movie off her resume. They used the money to get a used car and get out of there.
More cramps? Yeah, seems to be getting worse.
Well, that felt thrown in. Just then a cop pulls up next to them. So they take off! The chase was a smash. Apparently Georgia died. But Paula has a cut on her face! But after she heals...
You have been found guilty of murder in the 1st degree as charged.
And to make matters worse...
I don't want my baby in a place like this.
Apparently she's pregnant. That's why they had to throw in that line about her and the stomach cramps. And they don't say for sure, but I'm guessing the father is the guy they violated, while his girlfriend was tied up by her skirts. I don't know. After her baby girl is born nice and healthy, the doctor does have some bad news for Paula's parents.
She died.
And this is the end of the Teenage Girl Gang. Honestly, I think Teenage Girl Gang would have been a better title. Then it wavy lines back to the trial from the beginning.
Cannot possibly grant your request for the adoption of the child.
It's kind of sad that the court thinks the child would be better off as a ward of the state rather than giving it to her grandparents, but hey.
I can only feel the deepest of sorrow.
I'd feel sorrow too if I was in this movie. So there you have it. That's The Violent Years. Film that should have been called Teenage Girl Gang. The movie had a $38,000 budget, which even back then was low budget, but not as low budget as it is now. This was the second movie you'll find in the filmography of Ed Wood. However, he didn't direct it, he just wrote it, and he didn't even credit himself as the writer in this movie, which is odd. Like, he didn't want to have anything to do with this movie, because this one was so much worse than the other ones. It is, however, terrible. But terrible in that fun way. It's fun to watch with your friends and just insult. Or even if you're like me, just by yourself watching it laughing at how ridiculously horrible it is. A lot of the script makes no sense, even for the 50s. A lot of things just really thrown together, like the whole pregnancy thing. It kind of felt like they just had to find a way to kill off Paula. Because they don't even explain what about the pregnancy killed her, just died in childbirth. Not to mention the acting has been described as very wooden, and I would say that's fair. Wooden acting. And the script itself is extremely preachy. It's like the entire movie is just one big long PSA to parents of, hey, make sure you pay attention to your kids. Don't just give them material things, give them love and affection. And I hate to break it to them, but as far as rich kids go, it doesn't really seem like that message got out. Not just that, though, but the preaching thing, it was like they just grabbed something, threw it out there, and thought people were going to have the reaction of like, oh man, yeah, this is really good stuff. I should start paying attention to my kids. When in reality, even in that time, the few people that actually saw it more had the reaction of, duh! In my opinion, it's almost like a lot of the Lifetime movies now. Just big, long-winded movies where the overall message is, hey, it's not a good thing to beat women. We know. However, if you are like me and you do like to watch movies that are so bad that they're good, I would highly, highly recommend that you check out The Violent Years. So there you have it. That's my movie review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you get notifications when I post the videos. And leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of The Violent Years. Tell me if you think it would have been a better idea to call it Teenage Girl Gang. Love you guys.